Hey guys, welcome to my video series on graphing functions by hand. Today I'm going to be showing you how to sketch the graph of exponential functions. If you haven't watched my other videos, where I show you how to sketch hyperbolas, truncus, square roots and log functions, I strongly suggest you watch them as well, as graphing functions is a major part of maths methods. I'll leave a link to those videos in the description below. And like the other videos, I'm going to spend a minute or two covering the theory, and then I'll show you examples on how to sketch some graphs. The graph of an exponential function can be in the form of one of four shapes. The basic exponential function is written as y is equal to e to the x, and its graph looks something like this. The main feature of an exponential graph is its horizontal asymptote. For the basic graph, this is going to be the line y is equal to 0. Notice the curve lies above the asymptote and increases exponentially as the value of x increases, and approaches the asymptote as the value of x decreases. And it has a y-intercept at 1. If we write the negative in front of the x, where we're going to have y is equal to e to the minus x, then its graph is going to look something like this. The curve is still going to be above the asymptote, only this time as the values of x decrease, the curve will increase exponentially. If we put a negative in front of the exponential function, so we get the equation y is equal to minus e to the x, then the graph is going to look something like this. This time, the curve is going to be below the asymptote, and as the values of x increase, then the curve is going to approach negative infinity exponentially. And for the fourth shape, if we have a negative in front of the exponential function and in front of the x, as in y is equal to minus e to the minus x, then its graph is going to look something like this. The curve is going to be below the asymptote, and as the values of x decrease, the curve is going to approach negative infinity exponentially. Now it's important that you remember these four shapes. In general, the rule for an exponential function can be written as y is equal to a times e to the x minus h and then plus k. The value of a will determine the dilation of the graph, the value of h will move the graph to the left or to the right, and the value of k will tell us where the horizontal asymptote is. And here's the four steps that you need to take when sketching exponential graphs. The first step is to determine the basic shape, and we do this by checking whether there's a negative sign in front of the exponential and or the variable x. The second step is to work out the equation of the horizontal asymptote. The third step is to find the x and y intercepts if there are going to be any, and the last step is to label these on the axes and then sketch the graph. And that's it for the theory part. Now let's get into the examples. Sketch the graph of each of the following, marking the asymptote and intercepts. For intercepts, give exact answers or correct to one decimal place where appropriate. Part A. F of x equals e to the 2x plus 1. Step 1. We need to determine the shape of the graph. Looking at the rule, there's no negative in front of the exponential part and there's no negative in front of the x. And so the shape of this graph is going to be in this form. Step 2. We need to work out the equation of the horizontal asymptote. This is going to be the line y is equal to k, and since k is equal to 0, meaning that there's no constant added to the exponential part, the horizontal asymptote is going to be the line y is equal to 0. Step 3. We need to work out the x and y intercepts. Because the line y is equal to 0 is the horizontal asymptote, this means the curve will not cross this line, and so there's not going to be any x-intercepts. For the y-intercept, we let x is equal to 0 and then solve for y. And so we're going to get y is equal to e to the 0 and then plus 1. This is equal to e to the 1, which is the same as just e. And for the fourth step, we label these on the axes and then sketch the graph. And so on the axes, we draw the asymptotes with dotted lines, we mark in the y-intercept, and then sketch the graph. Part B. F of x equals 2 times e to the minus x minus 1. Step 1. Looking at the rule, there's a negative in front of the x, and so this means that the shape of the graph is going to be in this form. Step 2. We need to work out the horizontal asymptote. This is going to be the line y is equal to minus 1, since the constant k is equal to minus 1. And so the horizontal asymptote is going to be y is equal to minus 1. Step 3. We need to work out the x and y intercepts. For the y-intercept, we let x is equal to 0 and then solve for y. And so y is going to be 2 times e to the minus 0 is just going to be 0 and then minus 1. Anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. And so this is going to be 2 times 1, which is 2 minus 1. This is going to equal 1. And so the y-intercept is going to be 1. And for the x-intercept, we let y is equal to 0 and then solve for x. And so we're going to get 2 times e to the power of minus x minus 1 is equal to 0. Taking the minus 1 to the right hand side and then dividing by 2, we're going to get e to the minus x is equal to a half. From here, we need to take the log of both sides, the log e of both sides. And so this will become minus x, and this will become log e of a half. And now dividing both sides by a negative, x is equal to minus log e of a half. Using the log laws, this is equal to log e of a half to the power of minus 1, which is equal to log e of 2. And if you use your normal calculator, this is approximately 0.7, correct to 1 decimal place. And now for the last step, we mark and label all these features on the axes and then sketch the graph. Starting with the axes, we draw a dotted line for the horizontal asymptote, the line y is equal to minus 1, marking the x and y intercepts, and then sketch the graph. Part C, f of x equals 3 minus 2 times e to the x plus 2. Step 1. There's a negative in front of the e and not in front of the x, and so the shape of this graph is going to be in this form. Step 2. The horizontal asymptote is going to be the line y is equal to 3. The next step is to work out the x and y intercepts. For the y-intercept, we let x is equal to 0. And so y is going to be 3 minus 2 times e to the power of 2. And using your normal calculator, this is approximately minus 11.8, correct to 1 decimal place. Now since the horizontal asymptote is the line y is equal to 3, then there is going to be an x-intercept. And so we let y is equal to 0 and then solve for x. And so 3 minus 2 times e to the x plus 2 is going to equal 0. Moving the exponential part to the right and then dividing by 2, we're going to get 3 on 2 is equal to e to the power of x plus 2. And now taking the log e of both sides, we're going to get log e of 3 on 2 is equal to x plus 2. And so solving for x, x is going to be log e of 3 on 2 minus 2. Here you would use your calculator, and so this is approximately minus 1.6, correct to 1 decimal place. And now we're marking the x and y intercepts, and then draw the asymptote and then sketch the graph. The horizontal asymptote is the line y is equal to 3. We're marking the x and y intercepts, and then sketch the graph. Part D, f of x equals 5 minus e to the minus x. Step 1. We have a negative in front of the e and in front of the x. And so the shape of this graph is going to be in this form. Step 2. The horizontal asymptote is going to be the line y is equal to 5. Step 3. We need to work out the y-intercept. And so when x is equal to 0, y is going to be 5 minus e to the power of 0. E to the power of 0 is 1, so 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. Now since the horizontal asymptote is the line y is equal to 5, then there is going to be an x-intercept. And so when we let y is equal to 0, we're going to get 5 minus e to the minus x is equal to 0. Rearranging this, 5 is equal to e to the minus x, taking the log e of both sides, log e of 5 is equal to minus x, and so x is going to be minus log e of 5. And if you use your calculator, correct to 1 decimal place, this is minus 1.6. And now we put in all this information on the axis and then sketch the graph. And so drawing the horizontal asymptote as the line y is equal to 5, marking the x and y intercepts, and then sketch the graph. And that's it for these questions. I hope you found it useful, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. If you have any questions or you want help with any other questions, then comment below. Don't forget to watch the other videos too. Good luck, and I'll see you guys in the next video.